Hello and welcome to Ask Dr. Ginny session. Here we discuss about risk, fear, success rate, recovery, real outcomes of medical treatments and procedures with senior most doctors of India. For neurosurgery patients, today we answer a very common question. CyberKnife or brain surgery? Which treatment is safer or which treatment is right for them? So today we are joined by India's leading neurosurgeon, Dr. Aditya Gupta, Chief Neurosurgery and CyberKnife, Artemis Hospital, Gurugram, India. To address today's topic, CyberKnife versus brain surgery. Which treatment is safer or right for the patients? Dr. Aditya Gupta is graduated and post-graduated from All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. He has also served as faculty for many years before joining some leading hospitals of India. He has vast experience working as neurosurgeon. His experience is more than 25 years and he has done various complicated neurosurgeries and CyberKnife.
In this session, we are going to focus on CyberKnife. So what exactly is CyberKnife, Dr. Aditya? Is it a knife or is it a surgery?
So this whole concept of radiosurgery came about by a Swedish neurosurgeon, Professor Excel, and he had a dream of using radiation which was such a high dose and precisely focused that it also almost looks like or will have an effect of a knife. So that is how radiosurgery came into being. This is about 50 years ago. And now we are seeing that radiosurgery has become a very, very important treatment. CyberKnife is a next level advancement of radiosurgery in which what we do is we use a very, very compact linear accelerator and that produces a very fine pencil of radiation, pencil beam of radiation, which can be just a few millimeters and it can be aimed at the patient from any direction. So what it does is that it creates a very, very heavy dose of radiation, but in a very small and precise area where you want that very high dose of radiation. And that high dose of radiation can kill the tumor cells in that area. And this is all happening non-invisively, without any pain, in just about 20 to 30 minutes.
So when we have such neurosurgery technology, can we say that CyberKnife, can it replace brain surgery?
So I think that statement is partly correct. CyberKnife cannot replace brain surgery because you can only deliver a very high dose of radiation to only a small volume in the brain. So the brain has a radiation tolerance and only a small volume, which is about 2 or 3 centimeters in diameter. Just that volume, you can shoot a very heavy dose of radiation and there will be 95% chance that there is no complication from it. So it has not replaced brain surgery, but yes, it has replaced surgery for small tumors. Now, what has happened interestingly in the past 20 years is initially patients with a 2 centimeter or a 3 centimeter tumor, for example, there is a common tumor called as a meningioma or an acoustic schwannoma. Now, these patients used to need a 6 or a 7 hour operation and 5-6 days in the hospital. And now most of these patients with these small tumors are being treated in 30 minutes and they come from home and they go back from the same day.
The same is into the radiation therapy, the normal radiation therapy like IGRT or IMRT. So how CyberKnife is different from radiation therapy?
Yes. So radiation therapy is primarily used for cancer. And the paradigm is that for cancer, you need to give a very heavy dose of radiation, not only to the cancerous tumor, but also to 2-3 centimeters around it. Because it is cancer, so it is infiltrating the surrounding normal brain also. Whereas in radiosurgery, the best use of radiosurgery is for non-cancerous tumors, like I mentioned, pituitary adenoma, meningioma, acoustic schwannoma. These are non-cancerous tumors, so you do not need to treat any area around the tumor. There is no disease outside of the tumor as you see it on the MRI. So radiosurgery for a small sized tumor of 2 or 3 centimeters in diameter works wonderfully, and you deposit a very high dose of radiation there, and that is all that you need to do. And this works at least a 95% probability of success, 95% chances that this patient will not need any further treatment for this disease in their lifetime.
So can CyberKnife completely remove a tumor, or it mainly controls the growth of the tumor?
So that's another excellent question, and a lot of patients also ask me
sir.
this.
Yes.
So you see, what we are doing in CyberKnife, as I mentioned, is that we are depositing an extremely high dose of radiation very precisely only to the area where the tumor is located. And once you deposit that high lethal dose of radiation, the tumor cells get killed. And slowly over a period of time, the tumor will shrink and become dead. Now, we are not removing the tumor. We are in fact deactivating and killing the tumor cells. So there is a difference between these two things. And that is why for a large tumor, which is increasing the pressure inside the brain, or let's say there is a large tumor pressing on the optic nerve, it's reducing the vision of a patient. We do not take up such patients for CyberKnife. These patients have to be dealt with by surgery, because surgery can immediately remove the tumor and reduce any pressure which is there on it. So as I mentioned, small sized tumors which do not increase the pressure of the brain, which are not pressing and causing dysfunction of a nerve, they are the best candidates for a CyberKnife procedure. And a CyberKnife procedure deactivates and kills the tumor cells, and in 2 to 3 years time we see that tumor just shrinks away and it just becomes a dead piece of tissue or a scar tissue like that.
So, sir, if a small tumor which is pressing or causing pressure on the vision or that part, which surgery or which treatment would you prefer? It's a CyberKnife or brain surgery?
No, so we would prefer a proper surgical procedure for that patient. So, for example, for immediate relief of the function which is getting lost. So, if there is a large tumor pressing on the motor area of the brain and the patient is losing the power, again that big tumor needs to be removed. If a patient is losing vision or losing balance, again that large tumor needs to be removed.
And it is a small tumor?
And if it is a small tumor, if it is causing pressure on the nerve, still we may offer surgery as a reason for immediate relief of the symptoms. Because as I said, with CyberKnife, the tumor slowly shrinks over time. And if there is a nerve which is getting damaged by the tumor, and you keep that nerve damaged for 3 years, then the chances are that nerve will not recover. So for these kind of tumors, we still offer surgery. These are tumors which are pressing on a nerve. And many times we do endoscopic surgery through the nose for a pituitary tumor. So it is not always open surgery from the head. And though we call it open surgery, but even surgery on the head now is minimally invasive. Most of the time we will be operating through a 2 or a 3-inch hole to remove even big tumors. So that whole question that this is open surgery is actually is not correct to call it open surgery. It has all become minimally invasive neurosurgery.
So how long does CyberKnife take in showing the effect?
So by effect, what you mean is that the effect of the high dose of radiation on the MRI, we can start seeing the effect even at 6 months. Sometimes we treat small cancer deposits in the brain with CyberKnife, which is an excellent indication because small deposits, as I said, do not need surgery. And cancer deposits in the brain, which are called as metastases, we have seen metastasis completely disappearing in 2 months. So CyberKnife acts also very quickly, but in benign tumors in which the growth rate of the tumor is very low, the rate of shrinking will also be very low.
So are the risks lower with CyberKnife, or are they simply different from brain surgery?
So I think CyberKnife is zero risk.
Zero risk?
There is no risk because you are not making a cut, you are not opening, you are not subjecting the patient to anesthesia. So another beautiful thing about CyberKnife is if a patient has poor heart function, poor kidney function, uncontrolled diabetes, uncontrolled blood pressure, obviously they should get all these things controlled, but none of these things has any impact on a CyberKnife procedure. And especially if you talk about international patients, the beauty is that it's a very quick treatment and it's 99.99% that this patient will go back on the date that they were planning to go back. There's not going to be a situation in which we will say, oh, this patient needs to stay 2 days longer or 4 days longer or 1 week.
So realistically, how long international patients should plan for their stay in India?
I think if it is for a CyberKnife procedure and we are doing a single session procedure, then from the day of landing, in 5 to 7 days, they could take the return flight.
So, sir, can a patient undergo surgery first, brain surgery first, and then CyberKnife later, or repeated CyberKnife, or it's a combined treatment? Is it possible to do the combined treatment?
Yes, I think sometimes we land up in that situation. So, for example, if I removed a very large brain tumor and that was stuck to a very important blood vessel in the brain, and I had to leave 5% of the tumor behind sitting on that blood vessel to preserve that blood vessel. These patients have excellent indications for CyberKnife to be done 3 months after the brain surgery. So these two methods can easily be combined with each other. If I'm treating a small, very small brain tumor and it's not responded, so as I said, 95% of these tumors will respond to CyberKnife. But in those 5%, if there is a patient whose tumor does not respond and is still increasing, but it is still small, then we can again use CyberKnife. So CyberKnife can be done again. CyberKnife can be followed by surgery. For these 5% which don't respond to CyberKnife, surgery can easily be done. A patient with a large tumor, you do surgery. You can, if there is a small part left behind, you can easily do CyberKnife. So these two treatments can easily be combined with each other. It's not that if you do one, then the other one will become very difficult or very easy.
So, if an international patient sends you MRI scan, what will be the key indicator you will decide it is the case between CyberKnife or brain surgery?
So I think that is not such a simple thing based on which I can just give you a quick formula. The couple of things which I look at, the 3-4 things which I look at is, one, what is the size of the tumor? Second, what is the kind of tumor? It is an infiltrative tumor, then CyberKnife will not be benefit. But if it is a very discrete tumor like a meningioma, pituitary adenoma, acoustic schwannoma, then CyberKnife will work beautifully. Third is if the patient's functional status or if the patient has other severe diseases which make it impossible for surgery to be done, then sometimes we have to fall back on the option of doing CyberKnife. And then sometimes if we are treating a larger tumor, then I might say, let us treat this tumor in not 1 or 3 sessions, but let's treat it in 5 sessions. So there are many, many ways of combining these two methods and optimize and tailor the treatment for a particular patient.
So, if we compare CyberKnife with Gamma knife, that is also option today. So, which option, CyberKnife or Gamma knife, is better today?
See, CyberKnife is the name of a specific machine which can deliver radiosurgery. Gamma knife is the name of another specific machine which can deliver radiosurgery. So the treatment that these machines will deliver is very similar. Not just CyberKnife and Gamma knife. Now you have other machines. There is a kind of Novalis which can deliver radiosurgery. There is a ZapX which can deliver radiosurgery. There is an X-Knife which can deliver radiosurgery. But Gamma knife and CyberKnife are the two leading platforms. What I will say is Gamma knife is the older technology in which you used to need a frame. And patient used to have a frame mounted on their head, which is not always very comfortable. And with that frame, the patient goes inside a lead-lined chamber which has the radiation sources and be there inside for about 45 minutes to 1 hour for the complete treatment. So I would say Gamma knife and CyberKnife are very equivalent in their effect, but CyberKnife is much more friendly and comfortable. It is equally accurate. It is more versatile. Now Gamma knife has also come out with a version in which you don't need a frame. So basically their older logic that Gamma knife is more precise because you are using a frame, that logic does not hold any water now. CyberKnife is more versatile on a couple of counts. Number one, if I have a slightly larger tumor, for me to do a 1 session, convert that treatment to a 3 session treatment, just needs the click of a button. It's not that seamless with the Gamma knife. Second, if I have a tumor in the brain which is coming down into the neck, now Gamma knife does not have any accuracy below the second cervical vertebra. So, whereas CyberKnife can be used seamlessly for any part of the body. Third, the CyberKnife has advantage because sometimes you operate tumors in the spine. So for example, if I operated a benign nerve sheath tumor which is there in the spine and there is a small part of it is remaining, there is no option to use Gamma knife in that. I will have to use the CyberKnife. So I would say, in a nutshell, CyberKnife is more versatile, it is more comfortable and friendly, and it has absolutely the same effective results as Gamma.
So if we come to our myth busting session, then what that one myth you would like to bust about CyberKnife?
See, the one myth I would like to bust about CyberKnife is that CyberKnife can replace surgery. So patients should not think that they have two options. They can either go for CyberKnife, they can either go for surgery. So in the modern times, the larger tumors and those that are pressing on the nerves need to go for the surgery. And only if somebody like me or a qualified neurosurgeon offers the chance of CyberKnife, that is in very, very specific situations. So these two choices are not seamlessly available to all patients with brain tumors. Sometimes patients think they can choose what they want. But the fact remains that we offer surgery to a certain kind of patient with certain kind of tumor and size, and we offer CyberKnife treatment only to very, very specifically select group of patients from the entire group of patients who are having a brain tumor.
I'm sure seeing all this discussion, they will make right decision under guidance of right experts. So thank you very much, sir. It has been such an insightful session. Patient will get a lot of significant information through you.
No, it was a pleasure for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, the right treatment is not about choosing the most modern option, while right treatment is choosing the most appropriate option under the guidance of expert doctor. If you're a patient and if you're looking for opinion on your medical reports, you can send your medical reports to us on this address and we will get back to you with the expert opinion. Ask Dr. Janine will keep bringing such insightful medical sessions for you. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining us.